my god. You're so awesome, Lawrence Lim.
It's Lawrence Lim with the W.
On a scorching summer day, a family of three, a father, mother, and their young child, decided to escape the heat and head to the beach for some fun and relaxation. They packed a cooler with cold drinks and snacks, grabbed their towels, and set out for a day of sun and sand. The child, eager to splash in the cool water, could hardly contain his excitement. Upon arriving at the beach, however, they were greeted by an ominous black flag fluttering in the breeze, a clear warning not to venture into the water. The boy's enthusiasm dampened as his mother firmly insisted that they stay out of the sea and find other ways to enjoy their day at the beach. Resigned, the family set up their beach chairs and umbrella, seeking solace in the shade and engaging in various beachside activities like building sandcastles and sunbathing. After a while, the father grew restless and turned to his wife, saying, "Keep an eye on the boy. I'm going to take my chances and go into the water. There's no way it can be as dangerous as they say." A few minutes later, the boy, unable to contain his curiosity, asked his mother, "Why did you let Dad go into the water, but not me?" "Because you and your father are two different people," she replied, "and there are things he can do that you can't." Puzzled, the boy continued, "Is it because Dad knows how to swim really well?" "Not exactly," she answered. "Is it because Dad is big and strong?" He persisted. "No," she said. "Then why is Daddy allowed to go into the water and I'm not?" The boy complained, feeling increasingly frustrated. The mother leaned in and whispered, "Because Daddy has life insurance."
One evening, Bob decided to go out and ended up drinking way more than he should have. Stumbling home late at night, he managed to sneak into bed next to his wife, who was fast asleep, and fell into a deep, heavy slumber. Suddenly, Bob found himself waking up in a completely different place. It was serene and otherworldly, and right in front of him stood the pearly gates. There, St. Peter was waiting with a somber look on his face. "You died in your sleep, Bob," St. Peter informed him. Bob couldn't believe his ears. "I'm dead. No, that can't be right. I have so much more to do. Please, you have to send me back," he pleaded. St. Peter, with a sympathetic tone, responded, "I'm sorry, Bob, but the only way you can return to Earth is as a chicken." Bob was heartbroken and shocked, but he was desperate to go back to his life. He begged St. Peter to at least let him be near his home if he had to live as a chicken. The next thing Bob knew, his world changed completely. He found himself covered in feathers, clucking and pecking at the ground. He had turned into a hen on a farm near his house. As he was getting used to his new body, a rooster walked up to him. "So, you're the new hen around here. How's your first day going?" Bob, still in disbelief, replied, "Not bad, I guess, but there's this weird feeling inside me. It feels like I'm about to explode or something." The rooster chuckled and said, "You mean you've never laid an egg before?" "Never in my life," exclaimed Bob. "Just relax and let it happen. It's perfectly normal," the rooster reassured him. Taking the rooster's advice, Bob relaxed, and after a few strange and uncomfortable seconds, he laid an egg. He was amazed and overwhelmed by the experience, feeling like he had just experienced motherhood. The feeling was so profound that he quickly laid another egg, his heart swelling with joy. As he was preparing to lay his third egg, a sharp smack on the back of his head jolted him back to reality. He heard his wife's voice, loud and clear, full of annoyance. "Bob, wake up. You bed." A man was wandering through the countryside and found himself near a farm. He leaned on a gate, watching the farmer trying to gather his sheep. What caught the man's attention wasn't just the sheep, but the fact that the farmer wasn't using a sheepdog to herd them. Instead, he was using a pig. And not just any pig. This one had only 3 legs and was skillfully guiding the sheep into a pen. Curiosity got the better of the man, and he called out to the farmer, "Excuse me, but why does that pig have only 3 legs?" The farmer, leaning on his pitchfork, looked proud as he began to explain. "Let me tell you about that pig," he said. "That pig is not just any ordinary pig. He herds my sheep, wakes me up in the morning like a rooster, milks the cows twice a day, and even collects the eggs from the hens." The man was already amazed, but the farmer wasn't done yet. "And that's not all," he continued. "That pig is so smart he can count. He's so good with numbers that he manages all the farm accounts and even fills in my tax forms for me." The man, impressed, said, "What an incredible pig." But the farmer had more to say. "I'm not finished yet. 2 years ago, there was a huge fire at my farmhouse. That pig was a hero. He called the fire brigade and carried water from the river to put out the flames. He even braved the smoke and flames to rescue my wife and children, who were unconscious inside the burning house." "Wow!" exclaimed the man, thoroughly impressed. "That really is an extraordinary pig. But I still have to ask, why does he only have 3 legs?" The farmer paused for a moment and then replied, "Well, you see, when you have a pig that's special, you don't want to eat them all in one go." Josephine, a spirited lady who had seen 90 years of life, was about to celebrate her 91st birthday. Her eyesight wasn't what it used to be, but her zest for life was undiminished. Since her husband passed away, her world revolved around her 3 sons, who had grown up to be quite the mama's boys. They adored their mother and always tried to outshine each other when it came to birthday gifts for her. This year, each son was determined to give a gift that would win them the coveted title of favorite son. The first son, thinking he knew what would make his mother happiest, purchased a vast and elegant mansion. He imagined her delight at living in such a grand and luxurious space. The second son, not to be outdone, bought her a sleek white Mercedes, complete with a personal driver, thinking this would surely be the key to her heart. The third son, however, knew he needed something extraordinary to surpass his brother's extravagant gifts. After much thought, he found and trained a rare parrot. This wasn't just any parrot. It had the remarkable ability to recite any verse from the Bible on command. The third son was quite proud of this thoughtful and unique gift. The birthday party was a joyous affair filled with laughter and love. But the real moment of truth came afterward when Josephine called each of her sons to share her thoughts on their gifts. To the first son, she said, "My dear, the mansion is beautiful, but it's too big for me." To the second son, she said, "The car is luxurious, but I don't like drivers." Finally, she turned to the third son and said, "Now, your gift was just perfect. That chicken was absolutely delicious." A college professor found himself in a confessional booth, feeling the need to share his recent experience with the priest. "Father, my wife has been out of town for a few days," he began hesitantly. "After class today, an incredibly beautiful and young co-ed approached me and invited me back to her dorm room. I know it's wrong and I've never faced such temptation before, but she was just so alluring. To my own disbelief, I agreed to go with her." He continued, "We ended up becoming intimate, physically involved. Then, unexpectedly, her roommate walked in on us. Instead of being horrified or leaving, she decided to join us. And all three of us were. Well, you can imagine." The priest let out a deep sigh. The violation of marriage vows is a serious sin, he admonished. "I'm not certain I can offer you any penance at this moment that would be appropriate for such a grave transgression." "I'm sorry, Father," the professor replied. "I should have mentioned that I'm neither Catholic nor Jewish. I don't actually need your forgiveness." Confused, the priest asked, "Then why are you telling me all of this?" "Are you kidding?" The professor responded with a grin. "This is too good not to share. I'm telling everyone." Mr. Johnson went to the doctor's office to collect his wife's test results. Upon arriving, he approached the receptionist to inquire about the outcome. The receptionist, looking concerned, told him, "I'm sorry, sir, but there has been a significant mix-up, and we're facing a rather difficult situation. When we sent your wife's samples to the lab, they were mixed with samples from another Mrs. Johnson. And now, we cannot determine which results belong to your wife. To be honest, the possibilities are either bad or downright awful." Puzzled, Mr. Johnson asked, "What do you mean?" The receptionist explained, "Well, one Mrs. Johnson has tested positive for Alzheimer's disease and the other for HIV. We simply cannot determine which result is associated with your wife." Horrified, Mr. Johnson exclaimed, "That's terrible. Can't we just redo the tests?" The receptionist replied, "Under normal circumstances, we could. However, your insurance is through an HMO, and they won't cover the costs of these expensive tests more than once." Feeling helpless, Mr. Johnson asked, "So, what am I supposed to do now?" The receptionist, after conferring with the doctor, responded, "The doctor recommends that you drive your wife to the center of town and leave her there. If she manages to find her way back home, don't sleep with her."
A guy is standing in line at a hotel bar, not really paying attention, scrolling through his phone, totally in his own world. He's late to meet a friend, but decided to grab a drink first. Suddenly, someone calls his name from behind. He turns around a little too fast, and accidentally elbows a woman right in the chest. For a split second, he just stands there, staring at her chest, wondering if he's about to be kicked out of the hotel or arrested. He panics and turns bright red. "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Then, trying to be charming, he flashes an awkward smile and says, "If your heart is as soft as your chest, I know you'll forgive me." She leans in just slightly, smirks, and says, "Well, if your manhood is as hard as your elbow, I'm in room 745.
I heard a rumor through the grapevine so bold. Lawrence Lim got a million stories untold. From green jokes, conspiracies, and edits with flair. You gotta follow him, baby, if you dare. Your feet feels empty without his magic touch. He got the blues and the laughs that you crave so much. With a click and a follow, you'll find some relief. Lawrence Lim, social media, a digital belief. Click, subscribe, don't miss a trick. Now, hey, leave your worries and come on, click today. Lawrence Lim's got the content right in line. Follow him now.